Hello, friends and family and internet weirdos who stumbled upon this video. Today we are doing Lucha Libre in Mexico City. We started in this area of Roma Norte and went to Popo. It's a great bar, had vegetarian tacos, which were okay. Then we headed to another taqueria before heading to the Arena Mexico, where we got to watch a match that was actually televised. And in this video, I'm going to tell you about the history and the business itself, whether it's the founders, the most famous of the wrestlers, and you can enjoy watching these guys do some acrobatic stunts. And every now and then I'm going to pause the narration so you can hear the thunder of the crowd and how just absolutely amazing it is. So enjoy. So one thing I have to say about Lucha Libre is that it is very family friendly. There's no blood. At the end, you'll even see somebody brought a baby up to the ref. I didn't get the filming of who brought it up, so it could have been one of the wrestlers, a member of the crowd, whatever. Somebody brought it up, and he just starts walking around the ring like it's nothing. But there's some swearing on behalf of the crowd. I'll tell you that. They told us, okay, when they do this, you chant this. If they do that, chant this. And some of it's not too friendly. It's the only place you'll hear these people saying this. It might be a little kid and his grandpa, and they're shouting it together, and it's bad words. But outside of the arena, they would never do it. And it's like one of the tour guides said, it's like therapy for Mexico City. The other thing you might chant is that's not bad is if the fighters are just staring at each other and not doing anything, someone might start the chant beso, beso, which means kiss. It's like, okay, either kiss or start fighting. And at one point, I'll stop talking and you'll hear that chant. I think our tour guide started the chant of beso, and everybody took it up, and then they got back to doing it. Another one you will see, I think it happened twice in here. I probably won't point it out. The guys will get up onto the ropes and start to do wheels with their hands, roll it again. And if you want to see them do the same move again, you start shouting, otras. And they do it again. As long as the crowd's into it, they're going to do it again. So a little background on Lucha Libre. You've got your good guys and you've got your bad guys, right? The villains are called rudos, R-U-D-O. And they're going to be not usually in a mask. They can wear a mask. Like right here, some of these guys in these different matches that you're going to see, some of the bad guys are wearing masks. Generally, it's the good guys that wear them. The bad guys generally have longer hair and also their muscles aren't as defined. They might have a little bit of a pot belly, but still in that farm boy, really strong way. And then there are the técnicos. They're the good guys. They're the acrobatic ones that do all of the moves, that are crazy, flipping around, everything. And they're generally are going to wear a mask. They're going to have shorter hair, and they are defined. You're going to see muscles on their bodies that you're like, I didn't even know humans had that muscle. And people can cheer for either side. And you can go back and forth in the same match. You might be cheering for the técnicos, and then the rudos pull off a really crazy move, and so you cheer for them for a little bit. But there's not all the talking that's in American wrestling. It's just the fun and the action. The longest part is this introduction, where is what you're seeing right now, where they introduce, it's 3 men on each team, but then the rules kind of are different. You're supposed to really be one-on-one, generally, unless there is a stipulation, a special kind of match. But the rudos, the thing about them is they don't follow the rules, except for even the ones that'll get you eliminated, because there's only a few things that'll get you eliminated. Taking off someone's mask gets you instantly eliminated, and kicking them below the belt where you shouldn't gets you eliminated as well. And one of these guys here in a bit, you're going to see he does a flop like in soccer when the ref is distracted. Oh, and everybody hates the ref. The ref is worse than any of the rudos. And the reason you don't take off the mask is if you are unmasked, you can never wrestle as that character, because essentially they're personas. And people don't know who you are under the mask. You have to, once your mask is taken off, you have to admit to who you are, right? And so you'll see them pretending, like right now, the one guy's pretending like he's trying really hard to pull that mask off, but he wasn't going to take his mask off, obviously. Because while in Mexico City, people won't say, oh yeah, it's fake. They'll act like it's real to you. Everyone else did. They acted like it was completely real, but it's obviously very staged, unfortunately. But the mask, as soon as it comes off, you have to let people know who you are, where you're from, where you're working. You can never do wrestling under that name again. So, like one of these guys, one of the good guys is Templario. So say someone ripped off his mask during this match, he would never fight as that again. If he had a kid, they might wrestle as Templario Jr., which there's, in each one of these matches, there's at least one junior. So it's a family business. That's the other reason why you don't kick below the belt. So they're able to make those juniors and juniors. In fact, I'll talk about that in the video later about how people's grandkids even wrestle when I get into the history of some of the bigger names of the wrestling. The other way that you can lose a mask besides someone taking it off, once a year there will be a match where a técnico will bet his mask, like he'll unmask himself if he doesn't win, and a rudo will bet his hair. And it's the same thing, it's so important to have that hair as the bad guy, right? Just part of the look. Listen to the crowd right here, 1 second. So like I was saying, they'll bet their hair, and if they lose their hair, the tour guide never said if they have to start over again, but so if you lose your mask, you would have to start at the bottom with a new character, and people wouldn't know it was you necessarily. They said, hey, you never know, the guy who served you tacos today might be wrestling later in the night, and you just don't know. And it's kept a secret, and that's part of the mystique of it. And what I found to be really cool was this idea that it could be anyone, you know. Obviously, it's going to be a bigger, buffer guy. But it's a very interesting idea that your cab driver to the event maybe was fighting later. Obviously, they'd be there ahead of time, but it's kind of the mystique that they built up. So now that we got the gist of what it is of the wrestling, let's get into the history as we watch, because it's pretty impressive. The guy who founded this league, which is still operating since he started it, his name was Salvador Gutierrez Gonzalez. So there they were reacting to the guy trying to pull the mask off. And now the ref's distracted. He doesn't see it. Oh, he sees it again. So anyway, Salvador, he had joined the Mexican Revolution when he was 17. And he rose through the ranks a little bit. He wasn't like a huge major general, a figure in the Mexican Revolution that would be known because of that. But he would become known later because of his business. And his extreme luck. We'll say it was luck. I'll get into that in a second. So he had, after the revolution, a little bit of money. He wanted to start a business. He didn't know exactly what, but he wanted to entertain. He goes on vacation with a friend up to Texas. And while in Texas, they see a wrestling match. And he thinks, well, this is pretty cool, but I could do it better. And I want to put a Mexican twist on it, is what the tour guide, how they described, how he wanted to do it, and make it better. So he went to what was originally a parking lot in Mexico City, is what they said. And he set up a ring, and he'd have matches. And this is now the longest running wrestling promotion, because he did that in 1933 is when he started. Just wrestling, having the wrestlers go in what was a parking lot. So fast forward, he starts to get more and more popular. More people are coming to his shows. The venue's getting a little bigger, expanding. And wouldn't you know it, Salvador, he buys himself a lottery ticket and he wins. Wow, what luck, you say. Well, yeah, surely anyone can win the lottery, right? That's very, very lucky, very fortunate. He won a bunch of money and he invested it into an arena he called Arena Coliseum, which means the Coliseum Arena. because it was round, shaped kind of like a Coliseum, an ancient one. And they still wrestle there today. That's not where we are at. In this video, we are at Arena Mexico, which, he gets his ideas. He's got people in masks now. He's building. He won the lottery, and he's going more and more, growing. And then, wouldn't you know it, he got lucky again. He bought a lottery ticket with one of the people that worked there, and they won 5 million pesos. So lucky. Wow, what are the chances? So a lot of people think that maybe it was rigged and he was going to win regardless. Some say it was just luck. He was a lucky man, and he took those winnings and he got half of that. The other half went to the other person who bought the other half of the ticket, and he built the Arena Mexico. And that's where we're at. 16,000 people fit there, and they've been wrestling there ever since. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it is amazing to see this huge crowd. And as I got quiet, to show the reaction, feeling that noise is really, really impressive. I can't describe how cool it is to be there, and even just when I get quiet and you hear the crowd go nuts, they really get into it, and it makes it a ton of fun to be there with other people who are into it. So like right there, you see the crowd is not agreeing with the ref's decision, saying that the bad guys right there won that part. So the crowd lets them know. They say, no, you are absolutely wrong. Let's all boo together. They chant. The good guys are up there trying to get the crowd to say, no, tell him he's wrong. And so you just start hooting, hollering, shouting at the ref. People might be chanting bad things at the ref. And obviously he's in on it too. The ref obviously works for the company. It's just a promotion. And it's just all for a show. But boy, is it a fun event. So let's talk about the masks here, okay? So people didn't always have the masks. It became a thing to go along with their personas. But the first huge star that Salvador ever had was a man called El Santo. It means the saint. And he became a phenomenon, and he's a household name. If you say El Santo, everyone knows who you're talking about in Mexico. Here we go. We're going to get quiet again and listen to the crowd, then I'll get back to talking about El Santo. That was the beso, chanting for them to kiss, because they weren't actually doing anything entertaining to the people. That's what they considered. So El Santo's son, one of his, I think he had 11 children, wrestled with the name El Santo Jr. Or no, Hijo de El Santo, which means the son of Santo, the saint. Then he also had two of his grandsons, one the son of El Santo, the other one of his other children's kids. So this is a generational thing that goes, you can pass on to your kids, which is pretty cool. And people still adore El Santo. Primarily people are Catholic in Mexico. And so you might have in the Catholic religion kind of like a shrine to your family members that have passed away, something you pray to. You might have their pictures. You might have a picture of Jesus, Mary, what have you. But people will also have a picture of El Santo there. For real. They'll have it right along with it. And the reason he was so beloved is because during World War II, a lot of countries were not putting money into movies. They obviously had to pay for the war effort. But the people in Mexico were like, well, if no one else is doing it, we can have the whole market, essentially, right? And it led to what was called the golden era of Mexican cinema. And El Santo became a character in all these movies. They even made comic books for him. So in these movies, he was James Bond mixed with Superman. But the coolest part about it is you could see James Bond and Superman in person Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So in these movies, he would be like dressed as a spy, but he'd still have the mask the whole time. And when El Santo went out in public, he wore the mask. So in these movies, he had like a wristwatch communicator. So he was one of the first to do that. I don't know. I think Dick Tracy had already been invented because Dick Tracy was really the first one to have that watch communication thing. But El Santo had it, and he'd be driving sports cars, and the government gets a hold of him, and they say, El Santo, we need you to help us fight vampire women. That is, for real, a thing he would fight. He might fight other bad guys like scientists, evil, anything evil, whether it's a monster, a vampire woman, evil scientist, whatever. He would fight it. And he would fight alongside Blue Demon, who was actually a rudo. He was a bad guy in the wrestling ring. So on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you could come and you could watch them fight each other, and they were enemies. But then in the movies and in his comic books, El Santo and Blue Demon were friends. He was like Robin. Blue Demon was like Robin to El Santo's Batman, right? So they had this relationship going, working together. But that's why I don't get how anyone can ever say that, oh, it's not fake. How could you say that? Now, here comes another moment where I'm going to get quiet for a second. Here you go. Check it out. Oh. Yeah, you heard me lose it too. That was pretty cool. Pretty amazing. But the reason I'm saying how could anyone think it's not fake is because how are these guys enemies 3 days a week and then go make films together where they're best friends? But weirdly enough, no one would say it's fake. I mean, they kind of insinuated, but they wouldn't outright just say it's fake when I tried to get them to say, well, yeah, it's fake. The other cool thing about it was while there at the arena, before we did it, like I said, we hit up the bars and 2 restaurants. So we had some mezcal, some beer, a taco at the first place, some more tacos at the next place, some more cerveza. And when I get to the arena, they're like, do you want to order another beer? And I'm like, sure, because the beers that they served there were the small bottles, the like mini modelos and stuff at the first place. And then at the taqueria, they were in the cans. So they say, would you like to order a beer? Because the guy was going around. And I was like, sure, because it's still kind of warm. I mean, it's at night. And so the town does cool down quite a bit at night compared to during the day. That's one thing. Even in February, Mexico City was 75 degrees usually during the day. But at night, it drops. And I think it has to do with how high the elevation is. You know, it's average 7,300 feet above sea level. So more than 2,000 feet higher than Denver. So I was like, sure, I can have another one of those little beers easy. They bring me a cup the size of a 7-Eleven Big Gulp filled with beer. And it was delicious. I will say this. It was delicious. It was fun. But the percentage of alcohol is very low in the beers down there. A lot of times you'll get like micro brews up here in the United States that are like 12, 13, 15% alcohol by volume. I wouldn't drink one that big at all. I think I'd get sick, not from necessarily the alcohol content, but I don't think I could drink that much because it tastes so bad. Most of the beers up here, I think. But down there, it tasted great. The alcohol content was super low. So even though I had quite a bit of alcohol, I never once got even like a slurred speech. And usually as soon as I start drinking a beer, my speech starts to slur. But this was nothing. And then came time to pay. It was only 120 pesos. That's $6 on pretty much any given day. $6 at a huge arena, 16,000 people. In the U.S., one that size, a big gulp of beer is going to cost you, a big gulp of soda, forget alcohol, a big gulp of anything, even water, a big gulp of water at an arena is going to cost you $10 because they don't care. They're going to just make the money off of it. So it was amazingly priced. Pretty much everybody had one down there. And as you can see right in front, there's a guy wearing a mask. He's got it pulled back on his head, so you could, if you were looking at him the other way, you'd be able to see his full face. But people in the crowd wear these masks, and you can buy them outside. There's vendors all over the place right outside the arena selling them. I believe the arena had an actual store. And if you have, say, a favorite guy, right, you can get the same mask. This is the last match. This is Titan. You could buy his mask out front. It's obviously not going to be the same quality that he wrestles with because he needs it to be high quality so that when they're pretending to rip it off, it doesn't actually rip. The ones that we got would pretty easily rip. I will admit, and like they might have more sparkles and stuff on them, and sometimes the tour guide said that the ones you get outside might be pimped out versions, so like a little bit more flashy versions of the ones they have, but it's definitely going to be lower quality. The material felt kind of weird. I wouldn't have an open flame by it. It felt like it would melt onto your face if you had an open flame near it. It was kind of dangerous. But it's so cool that you can pick out your favorite, and you could pick out the bad guys. You know, you like the Rudos, that's fine. Wear their mask, that's cool. But some of them are kind of weird characters. I want to tell you about the characters themselves. They are very stereotypical, the bad guys. For instance, one of the guys in the first match that they won, the Rudos, by the way, the Rudos won the first match. If you weren't paying attention, it set it up on the screen. Triunfo Rudo means Rudos triumphed, right? One of the guys was a pirate. He straight up was a pirate. He pulled out a pirate flag, and he put it on the guy. So very stereotypical. One of the guys in this match, the guy in just his undies, Alright, I had to stop talking because that introduction was so cool. That's Mystico. He actually wrestled in the WWE, so in the US under a different name. I cannot recall what it was because I'm not really a fan of WWE. When I was a little kid, yeah, I liked it, but haven't been into it in a very long time. So he came back to Mexico to wrestle. He's really popular. So anyways, guys, that guy in the underwear now, he's on the right side. Oh, he's not there anymore. He's got long hair. He is a caveman. Part of his name is Cavernario, which means caveman, literally a caveman. And he is not the first caveman either. There have been a bunch of different cavemen. And Cavernario might be part of the name, and they have, the big caveman, the scary caveman, whatever. But they are stereotypical, so this is the guy I hate. This is the guy I chant against. Whereas this other guy, like Templario, for instance, he's a Knight Templar. It's Catholic. So, he's a good guy. That's who you vote for. He might do good things in the community. But in reality, these are straight up just your neighbors, your next door neighbor. You don't know who they are. And they're probably all really great guys in person anyways. Here comes some more sound. What an introduction, am I right? I mean, can you imagine being that guy? The crowd loves him. How cool is that? And even though it is fake, very obviously, because, no one stands still while someone kicks them in the head like that, or just let someone run into them like they did. People can get hurt doing this. They know how to take those hits to make it look like they really connected really hard when it's connecting pretty lightly. But those falls can be super dangerous. I briefly worked with a stunt company when I was a teenager, and the thing they taught me was the most dangerous falls were not the 40-foot drop off of a building onto a big airbag. It's the 3-foot falls onto a small mat, because in the air there's so much corrections you can do, and that mat is so big, the air cushion. Whereas in life, when you're just falling down quickly 3 feet, it doesn't matter. You don't have time to correct if you realize that you fell wrong, right? So these guys do actually get hurt. there is some intensity to the speed they hit on the mat, and things can go wrong too. So people do wind up getting taken out in hospital sometimes. Especially when you're doing some of the extreme moves where they like flip up and lock their legs around another guy's neck and then spin around and go flying. That can go very bad. Or that right there, say he misjudged it. That right there, he could have broken his neck. But those guys, to even get in the ring, you have to train for 4 years. So they don't just let anybody hop up. There's no like open mic night for comedians. There's no open mic night for Lucha Libre. They're not going to take the chances, especially because these guys make them so much money. So, of course, they're going to treasure them. There's one thing that I haven't talked about in the Lucha Libre yet that I have to. Right down by the corner of the ring, you can see that. I'm colorblind, but I think it's pink. The guy in the pink outfit. So it wouldn't really go over well in this country, in the U.S. I mean, sure, some people wouldn't care. Some people don't care about a lot of things. But that is someone with dwarfism in the outfit. And if you noticed in the previous match, the Rudos had a guy in an outfit who had dwarfism. So it's a little person. Now, these guys are actually very popular, not just to like laugh at, but they are in their own rights. They're celebrities. So it's kind of tough. It's a cultural thing. It's a difference in culture. Do we like just accept it, go along with it? Do we, condone it? Or do we condemn it? Do we not agree with it? And that's, each person has to make up their own mind whether they're okay with it, where they draw the line at what's acceptable. Some people think it's hilarious and laugh at the person, whereas the people that are attending, they made it clear that these people aren't laughing at the person, that they are the celebrity because of their actions. They have fun in there. All these guys are doing is acting, right? The people that aren't that don't have dwarfism, right? So are the people that do have dwarfism. They're just acting. Everybody on here on the stage is an actor, whether it's a more extreme physical activity you have to do, or whether it's really hard to talk about because I'm not from that culture and I grew up in a completely different way, and probably most of the people that are going to watch this grew up in a different way. So you have to make up your mind whether you think it's okay to root or cheer for that or cheer against. It's let me know next time I see you, because pretty much everyone watching this, I know who you are. Let me know what you think about it, all right? And if you're not, I don't know, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Is it okay to do that? Do you think that it is using that person, taking advantage of them? Or is it creating maybe an opportunity or a job, something that they might not have had? See, here he's getting involved. One of the bad guys is coming after him because he is on the technical side. And he grabs him, you think, oh man, he's got to get punched. I don't know if they ever do beat the guys. This one will do in a little bit. This person will do some acrobatics, actually. You'll see near the end of the match. Really impressive to watch. But let me know in the comments or next time I see you in real life what you think about that. Another thing I want to know next time I see you guys is whether or not you think I could do this. Should I do this? Should I go train for 4 years, leave my life behind? Do you think I could do it? I think if I trained like basically all day, if I quit my job and sold all my belongings, could I become a technico? I think not. I could become a rudo for sure. I mean, I'm not like, I already got the pot belly. Let's just tone it down a little bit maybe. I would love to do this. All right, watch this and listen to the crowd's response. It's really cool. I'll be honest, I think I could swing a guy around like that. I really do. And throw him? I don't think I would have a problem with that even now. But give me 4 years of working out, and I'm assuming they take steroids based on how they look. But I'm just saying that. Give me steroids and work out and exercise for 4 years. I'm going to spin a dude around like that. And I don't know. This guy, does some pretty crazy stuff later on. The Technicos will pick up a dude and they'll flip one of the rudos. So I don't know about the landing. That's the only part I don't know that I'd be able to completely 100% handle. But I could be the tall, mysterious guy that every now and then throws a crazy punch or lifts a guy up and smacks him real cool. I'd be El Gordo Magnifico. And my son could be El Nino Grande. So we'd be the magnificent fat man and the big boy. Which, if you know your nuclear arms history, it's kind of a joke. And we could be like radiation victims. Something like that. And that way I could keep my gigantic figure. I wouldn't have to work out as much and take as much steroids. But my son is going to be a pretty big boy. He's probably going to be over 6 feet, unfortunately. But I think that would be the funnest career move of my life. Tell me what you think. Next time you see me, say, "What are you thinking, you idiot? There's no way you could do that." Or cheer me on. Help me achieve this new dream of mine. It'll be my dream for, I don't know, probably about 3 more weeks at least before I decide, no, I don't want to do that. That's dumb. But maybe if you encourage me in comments if you're a random internet weirdo or in person if I knows you. Oh, gosh, that right there, the way they double kicked him in the side of the head after the other guy flipped, see, that's what I'm talking about, where they can seriously injure themselves. There's so many places where that could have gone wrong. That makes me think these guys have to constantly be practicing these moves with each other. So these guys are going to be like best friends. You just know that they're all, after this, go have a beer together and just laugh about it. Another thing I forgot is that this league is owned and at least operated currently by Salvador Lutrath Gonzalez grandson, I believe. There was only a brief period of time where it wasn't run by one of his family members. So I think that's pretty amazing. Running since 1933, primarily controlled by the same family, is fairly impressive for any business, right? We're coming up on, 92 years right now of that. Oh my gosh, I bet in 8 years they're going to have some really crazy cool stuff. I'm going to have to go back. I'm already planning to go back, I'll be honest. That's how much I enjoyed this. I would love to get ringside seats and really be down there in the thick of it watching. I don't know if I'd want to be on the side opposite of the ramp or one of those other sides, because they seem to launch each other into guys to the sides instead of to the front. So it might be cool to see somebody get launched, but what if you're on the wrong side and they launch both times, or like they only do it once in the whole show, and you're on the opposite side and then you basically just miss it. So I don't know, maybe it'd be better to be in the front so you could kind of see everything. But those tickets are fairly expensive, even for like here in America. It's an expensive ticket. In fact, I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna get back to you in just a second. For you it'll be no time at all, but for me it'll be probably a minute or two. 1 second. Alright, so I looked it up. I'm back. That was so quick for you guys. At the Arena Mexico, the most expensive tickets I found, like just looking around a few dates, which were pretty close, got up to about 700 pesos. That was crazy, wasn't it? That was some of his caveman stuff he does. But anyway, so they were 700 pesos, right? That's only $60. And then at the Arena Coliseo, they were 500 pesos. So, I mean, that's not bad at all, right? Or did I do my math wrong? Oh, shoot, I did my math wrong. That's only $35 for 700 pesos. And $25 for the 500 pesos. So, yeah, that's before ticket fees and stuff. So I don't know if that shoots it way up, but heck, even if it doubled it, that's still really good. I'd pay that in a heartbeat, man. Let me tell you, every time I go on vacation, I want to move to wherever I go, for the most part,
Never done that to Vegas. I've always had a good time in Vegas, but never wanted to move there. For that little, for $35, you know, every match I'd be sitting ringside. I'd go every time they do it. Probably go to the Coliseo as well. I just need to find a little job. Maybe I could be a little tour guide to Americans and be like, hey guys, what's going on? Let's go watch the Lucha Libre. But then I could also do like a really expensive tour where we get the good seats and basically they pay for my seats and their seats. All right, check it out. Here's where the person with dwarfism is going to do a flip. So he could have got really hurt there too, especially with the different health concerns that comes along with having dwarfism. The way he caught him and pulled him away. So now everybody's cheering for him. Did you see that guy? If you didn't, go back about 10 seconds and watch the guy talking to the ref right now. He started to do this symbol with his hands. He was asking everybody if they wanted it again. And but then he stopped. But if he had kept going, they would have said, oh, thrust, oh, thrust, oh, thrust, to see it again. Which would have been pretty impressive, I gotta admit. But this is Lucha Libre. I'm very interested in what you guys think. As someone who grew up kind of as a fan of wrestling, you know, the late 80s, early 90s, into even like the year probably like 2000 maybe, I was a fan of it. I thought it was cool. I'm very much enjoying myself here. 1 second. Like, what even is this? He's doing the worm. The bad guy's doing the worm. He was kicked so hard, he must do the worm. Right? How are you not going to enjoy this stuff? That's what I'm getting at. I don't know. I know my mom wouldn't enjoy it. I think my dad would enjoy it. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, he thought wrestling was kind of fun too. I don't know if you like how loud it is there, because let me tell you, it gets so loud. Some of this cheering that it really doesn't come through. I will say this, watching it back and playing it back on the video, and I have lowered the volume so it kind of is equal when I stop talking to my voice, and then I've got obviously the background going, but you do not get the actual feel for it that you get from being there. It is absolutely crazier in person when someone does something like that, gets all the dudes, flips him over onto his knee. It's insane. The shouts become just this feeling of vibration. That person clapping right there is actually one of our tour guides. I think he took the job just so he could go watch Lucha Libres every Saturday, Sunday, and Friday. Like I said, I'd do it. And if you're interested, I will link in the description to the website that we booked them through, to their specific one, because there are a lot of companies that offer similar tours where you go out to eat or go out to drink before going. They give you a really good history, especially if you get Leia and Danny. They are really good together. He's very funny, and she's really knowledgeable, and she really sells the history really well when they're before you get to the arena. They take you to this kind of public area, and that's where I learned the majority of this history, this stuff. So I will say, if you go down there and you want to pick a company, this company's good, I know. And I don't know, maybe you have to ask if you can get Danny and Leia, but they're very excellent. They made the night super fun. He gave us a hug at the end of the night, and so did she. And we wound up getting actually a souvenir. I'm sure you can guess what that souvenir is. Sorry, I had to interrupt myself to hear myself chanting with 15,999 other people to tell these two grown men to kiss or start fighting again. They give you a mask. You reach into a bag, and there's a bunch of different designs and styles on there. I got a white one with silver, like where your ears would be, but not holes for it. and then silver around the mouth and around the nose hole and around the eyes. I like to sit around in it and just do nothing because I look so darn amazing in it, I think. And we got another one that was like Captain America colors. My wife got, and she gave to a friend as a gift. I don't know that she was as entertained as I was. It was. It's just a feeling. It's hard to describe to someone without them. Like if you're watching this, you can see the people get into it. You can hear them. But like I said, the feeling of the noise of the cheering is a whole nother thing when you're actually there. It is, there's a camaraderie amongst the crowd that I mean, sporting events, this is a very physical activity. I'm not going to say it's not a sporting event because of the fact that these people train at, I said, Olympic level gymnastics. It is incredibly intense, right? I'm not going to say it's not a sport, but sporting events I've been to baseball, I've been to football, I've been to basketball, I've been to hockey, and I don't think there's the camaraderie amongst the audience that there is at a Lucha Libre match. And I am very much looking forward to going back. Probably, I don't want to wait any more than 2 years before I go again to Mexico City because there is so much. I mean, this is the last video in our series for this vacation, but there is so much that we didn't get to do. So many museums, so many works of art, brilliant things that were amazing, and also return to Lucha Libre. I mean, look at that. That guy grabbed his neck by bouncing off the top rung, and there goes my mouth. I can't even talk. So I hope you guys enjoyed our vacation. If anybody wants me to, tell me in person or leave a comment if you're an internet stranger, and I'll make a video on tips and tricks for Mexico City, or even this vacation we went to Vegas as well. If you want to see some tips and tricks on how to get by in Vegas or Mexico City, things to do therein, yeah, just let me know and I'll put one up. Absolutely. I would love to help people out like that. Think about your regular day. Where are you going to see that? Where are you going to do that with people around you, huh? Nowhere, that's where. There goes his bell again. Man, I'm telling you, if you have the chance to go to Mexico, specifically Mexico City, because I know that there are other leagues that do this other places, go to Mexico City. Do this. Watch this. And here comes the little bit with the baby. Someone's got a baby and the ref carries him around. And then the wrestler, it's adorable. What the heck? You don't get a parade of baby around a football field. Come on. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.